Okay, so demisexual is described as a person who only feels sexual attraction when there's an emotional bond, aka a woman. And then she said, quote, hip or cool to not be hetero in my liberal bubble. The country does not have a future with this kind of stuff. It just does not. It's so wonderful to be a member of the intersectional coalition that everybody wants in. And so we're now just going to make up things so that you too can be a member of the intersectional coalition, which brings me to my favorite story of the day. Michaela Kennedy-Cuomo, 23, is Governor Andrew Cuomo's daughter. She came out in an Instagram post last month as queer. Now, we used to believe that queer, now having been hijacked from a term of derogation as a derogatory, is now used by members of the gay community as sort of a championing term, right? It used to mean gay, bisexual, lesbian, right? It used to mean something along those. Now, Michaela Kennedy-Cuomo came out as demisexual. According to WebMD, demisexual people only feel sexually attracted to someone when they have an emotional bond. She says, when I was in elementary school, I feared that I was a lesbian. When I was in middle school, I came out to my family and close friends as bisexual. When I was in high school, I discovered pansexuality and thought that's the flag for me. I've recently learned more about demisexuality and have believed that identity resonates with me the most. And then she said, she has always dreamed of a world in which nobody will have to come out because everybody's sexuality will be assumed fluid. But in a world that force-feeds cisgender heterosexuality, coming out of the closet is a lifelong process of unpacking internalized social constructions and stigmas. And she is demisexual. She added that when she first came out as queer, she feared she would be perceived as attention-seeking since it's, quote, hip or cool to not be hetero in my liberal bubble. And therein lies the issue. Okay, so what the hell is a demisexual, you ask yourself? So again, WebMD now lists demisexual as, quote, only feel sexually attracted to someone when they have an emotional bond. Okay, now, demisexual started off as a fan fiction role play forum in 2004 on a made-up identity in a middle schooler's character. Okay, and now it's on WebMD. Okay, so demisexual is described as a person who only feels sexual attraction when there's an emotional bond, aka a woman. A woman. What studies demonstrate, repeated social science and hard science studies suggest that women tend to have higher sexual satisfaction by leaps and bounds when they have an emotional connection to the person with whom they are having sex. But now this is considered some sort of minority sexuality, demisexuality. Everybody is so interested in jumping on the intersectional bandwagon because, again, if you're part of the coalition, then you're not part of the evil maw of the United States, the evil blob that is the United States. The left is banking on this. They've weaponized our institutions in favor of this sort of nonsense. And it has a pretty predictable effect. The demonization of people across the other side of the aisle and the attempt to subjugate the institutions of the country and destroy them as somehow not benefiting you. The country does not have a future with this kind of stuff. It just does not. And the more young people who feel that it is popular to join the quote-unquote coalition of the oppressed, because you're either the oppressor or the oppressed in the binary Ibram X. Kendi nonsense construct, the more people who buy into that construct and then decide they're going to be a member of the oppressed group because there's only victims and victimizers in American society, the more the United States is going to be in serious, serious trouble. And we can see that each and every day. Who's got two thumbs and wants you to like and subscribe?